What's going on, positive people? What's up, HCR fam? This is B Plus, and you are listening to the Be Positive Music Show. And I am very, very excited today. Somebody that I look up to a lot. I appreciate his music, his podcast, his preaching, his book. I appreciate a lot about this brother. Please welcome to the show, Kevin Burgess, KB. KB, say what's up to the Holy Culture fam.
What's going on, family? Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I know you're a very busy guy. I know I have you for a limited amount of time, but I do want to welcome you to the show. And also, I just want to let you know what we're going to do today. We're going to do a recap countdown. Are you familiar with what I do with a recap countdown?
No, this is my first time.
Okay. So really quickly, I take a look at my 5 favorite bars, my 4 favorite beats, my 3 favorite tracks, my 2 favorite features, and I'll round everything out with one final recap. Normally, I do it by myself, but I have the honor of actually presenting that to you. We're not going to actually listen to the music, but I will be able to help you follow along with that. I'm a little bit of an old school person. I enjoy albums. I know in today's culture, you got to hit them with a single. You got to keep yourself at the top of the algorithm, top of people's feeds and stuff like that. But I enjoy sitting down. You guys sit down and put a lot of work into the project. And it's one of my pet peeves. Like the next day, there's kind of like, I don't like the album. I'm like, you spent 0 time with the work. So I like to sit down when the kids go to sleep, my wife go to sleep. I sit down with my over-ear headphones and I really just take in albums. So that's what I do. And that's what we're going to do here today. So I feel like I'm talking too much. So let's go ahead and well, actually, before that, I do want to talk about something really quickly. The artwork for the project. Who kind of designed that? Because it dawned on me as I was looking at it that it's actually small pieces of your previous artwork.
Yes, that's right.
Was that intentional? Was that your idea? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I worked with the extremely talented Matthew Paul. I love this breakdown you got here. I work with him to basically incorporate all my albums that preceded this one into this album cover, because that's what the album is, in my opinion. It's a culmination of what I have, what I've been working on for a decade into one project. So I think that I wanted it to be mangled. I didn't want it to look nice and clean and uniform, because one of the big observations for life right now for me is how untamed and wild and sometimes unpredictable and out of control and nuanced and complicated and messy life is.
Absolutely.
And somehow the Lord uses all those particular pieces to put something masterful together. So that's what the album is, a culmination of all that I have done over the years, different styles, and from singing to rapping to poetry to telling my story, the story of the Lord Jesus, all wrapped into one project. So that's what the album cover reflects.
That's awesome. Appreciate that insight on that. But let's go ahead and get into my 5 favorite bars. All right, KB. So this was my 5th favorite bar on the song. It was from the song Away with Limo Blaze.
Need to be right though, leave out with that quote, trying to be light though, while we stumble through the night though.
And the reason why I particularly like this quote, just talking about how we're striving to live right, but we stumble through the night. It just reminds me of Romans chapter 7. Talk to us a little bit, real briefly, about just like your heart behind that bar there.
Yeah. So it's interesting because for most of my Christian walk, I interpreted Romans chapter 7 very differently than how I interpret it today. Mm-hmm. And typically when you're doing, exegesis, you don't want your experience to, determine what the meaning of a text means. But I must say, in Romans chapter 7, where Paul is describing the good that he wants to do being out of reach and the bad he doesn't want to do, still showing up as a pattern in his life, it seems to sit so well with life that it almost feels like it is commentary on life. Yeah. And you grow to know that as you walk with the Lord for some time, that your greatest desire is to be right before the Lord. But it's like a giraffe walking on ice. Your walk is often like a giraffe walking on ice, especially depending on the season. So yeah, this is an important line because I think it captures who we want to be. That we want to be light, we want to be right, but we are stumbling forward. Constantly stumbling forward, and this is why grace is so important for us.
That's awesome, and I love the imagery there with the giraffe stumbling on ice. That's actually it's kind of hilarious. I have to kind of hold it together for a second because like the imagery there is it's very true. It's very true. Let's keep moving. My fourth favorite bar on the project. The reason why I like this one, and this is from the song you have with Scooty Wop, "Who the Sun Sets Free." You mentioned you have the bar about first you talk about Stranger Things in 11. And then
Yep.
you talk about Friday and saying bye to Felicia.
It's Friday, but Sundays come and say bye to Felicia.
The reason why I like this bar is because the song was put me like in like a really like serious posture, and then you had say bye to Felicia, and it immediately made me laugh. And it's just like the joy in that, like the joy in the weeping and the joy just kind of happened at the same time. So I just thought that was pretty funny. That's why I like that one.
Well said. Yes. Well
Yeah,
said.
you got to be able to do both. You got to be able to laugh and cry. You got to be able to laugh and cry.
Yeah.
Moving on to number 3. So my third favorite bar, it was just the alliteration. It was just alliteration on the Grave song.
I'm pushing P in the present, the perfect power. Pick the pack of Peter Piper peel, popping peasant, put us in his present. Peace to the brethren. Tell him that Kevin is.
Now I do want to ask you about this. Do you enjoy? Is it a particular part of the writing process that you enjoy? Like, is it the heart bars, or is it like the times where you get to be really clever like this with the alliteration, or is it like the turn up bars? Like, what's the difference in those different styles of writing that you have?
So I think I probably prefer the heart bars more.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's tons of lyricists out there that can put together impressive alliterations and stuff, or punchlines, but I like saying profound things simply.
Right.
One of my favorite lines on this album is in the song "Your Way," when I at the end of the first verse, when I say, I need peace, not control.
Oh man.
And man, I just got goosebumps just saying that right now, brother. I love those kind of one-liner,
Yeah.
pithy but also profound, like phrases. In a phrase, you just capture
Right.
the heart.
That completely resonates. You're kind of getting ahead of my recap countdown. I like that. I
Oh,
appreciate
nice.
that.
My
I
bad.
appreciate
My
that.
bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's move on to number 2. That is from To God. Just like the Robitussin and coffin/coffin, depending on how you hear it.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. Life to the dead, he wrote with Tussin. The only one stopping the coffin.
Then like the coughing sound afterwards. It was just that was perfect. That was perfect.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, brother.
So that was number 2. And then my favorite bar on the entire project. Actually, I could do a top 10 on Easy by itself, but this is one of those ones that it's just like it's really quick. It's a one-liner.
I put my name on it. It's KB 6'2" when I'm praying on my knees. I look like 8 feet.
And it just I think about this sometimes when I stop and pray. It's like a reminder that like I'm a giant right now, and I'm bowing before the Lord, and I'm presenting my praise, my petitions to Him. So, man, that's Easy. You killed it. You killed it.
I love it, man.
You even have some accounting
man.
bars in there. My degree's in accounting, so I appreciated that.
That's encouraging, brother. Hey, do me a favor, man.
Yeah.
Take these five like slides.
Yeah.
And do a post on Instagram and collab me in it. And
okay. Sounds good.
These are dope. I like this.
Oh, appreciate it. So those are my bars. And we're gonna go ahead and let's go ahead and dive into the production on this project. Man, what can I say? in relating this to HGA one, I mean, you're very well known for your flips of CCM tracks, worship tracks, and I noticed in this one there was a lot more gospel flips.
Yeah.
And was that intentional?
It was not intentional,
Nice.
but you are right though. I kind of do what I kind of do what I feel like the Lord's leading me, and where
Mm-hmm.
where the opportunity is, I just take it, and whatever happens, happens. And it just felt poetic that I hadn't done much gospel stuff before, but then my team had worked on King Jesus, the Vicky Winans joint, and then they did
Yeah.
Fred Hammond, Donza, and then Fred Hammond, Glory to Glory, and it
Yeah.
just kind of came out that way. It was like
Mm-hmm.
this one's more gospel leaning, and shout out to Ron Hill at Provident,
Okay.
who is in relationship with all of the giants of the gospel industry. So he was able to make phone calls, phone calls that I could have never made.
Right. That's
There's been no
dope.
chance for these
Right.
samples being cleared before. So
I was going to ask
uh,
about that.
the time was just right. The time was right, and
Got you.
and
Got you.
everyone was very generous too,
Mm-hmm.
with with the percentages that we had to
Mm-hmm.
approve, and just very very kind and supportive. Vicky Winans, I was so blessed in my conversation with her.
Mm-hmm.
She loved the song and just was encouraged by it, and
That's
just
awesome.
very grateful for her spirit. And then Uncle Fred was also just super embracing and encouraging and supportive. So it was the Lord had intentions,
Yeah.
but
That's awesome
I
to
just
hear.
received it. Yeah.
That's awesome to hear because I've heard that some gospel artists sometimes they feel like hip hop with gospel, like, no, I'm not clearing that. And there's been
Yeah.
some opportunities. I've heard some things like on YouTube and back in the day on I'm not gonna go way back to MySpace, but I've heard some different mixes that people have done with gospel, and it never comes out, it never gets cleared. So it's dope that it got clear, and
Yeah.
it sounds like your producers are bringing those flip ideas to you. Am I
Yes, they are.
okay?
They
Okay,
are. My producers are my friends. I only work with essentially three guys,
right.
and
That's,
and a part of what they have done is just understood me musically better than I understood it myself.
oh wow.
And they are thinking about where I'm at and where they would like to see me go.
Mm-hmm.
I share some creative vision, vibe, what I want, what kind of season that I'm in,
Yeah.
and these guys, shout out to Quentin and Wes and Kardak, they take it to the moon.
Awesome. Well, let's take a look at my four favorite bars. I mean, four favorite beats. I
Now,
hate saying beats on some things because it's a production. It's not just like somebody banging on the lunchroom table with their forks and pencils. Your album is a production. So starting off with number four, Into Glory. It just sounds like the intro of a movie or a concert. So that was number four. Number
love it.
three, Glory to Glory. You mentioned the flip from Uncle Fred on there.
Uh-huh.
Kardak, what can you say? The drums are just amazing. Number two, I had to go with King Jesus. And number one, I went with Easy. And now you can
Nice.
see there was something really faint on the beat switch on Easy. It was an ad lib, and it sounded like you said, "We are the good, so cold." Is that correct? Was that you?
To be honest with you, I had no idea what that phrase said until after the song came out and Wes commented in the comment section what it said. And I was like, oh, that's what you're saying. But I think that was me because I said that on another song and he sampled it and put it in there.
Ah,
We are the good, so cold. Yeah, I think
yeah,
he
that's
sampled. I think that was me, but he sampled me from another song. But I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was just some kind of vocal sample, that just felt good.
that's really dope. It's also like that's one of those things about what you just said about these people being your friends, like they're actual real
Yeah.
life friends, know each other's
Yep.
families, that they can do something like that, and you just trust them. Like, you're not like, hey, what is that? Or I don't think that that's the right thing. It's something that you guys are you're doing life together, and they, like you said, they know you very, very well. So those were my 5 favorite bars, my 4 favorite beats. KB, stick around for our next set. We're going to get into our my 3 favorite tracks, my 2 favorite features, and we'll ask KB some more questions. This is the Be Positive Music Show. We are live right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM channel 154, and we will be right back.
Love it.
Hey, yo, what's happening, positive people? This is your boy Limo Blazy, aka God's favorite baby, aka Limo Blazy. Yo, yo, yo. And you are now tuned in to Be Positive Music Show with B Plus, right here on Holy Culture Radio.
All right, and welcome back to the Be Positive Music Show. We are live right here with KB. We are discussing his latest release, HGA II. We are doing a recap countdown. We are now at my 3 favorite tracks and the 2 favorite features. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into, well, actually before that, right now, currently, what is, off of this album, what song is like your favorite to perform or you can't wait to perform?
Right now it's Danza. I'm doing it right now on the road.
Oh, wow.
With Phil on Phil and Brandon Lake's tour.
Okay.
And
how's that going over?
Good. And it's actually weird because it's a Dembo record, and these are not Dominican audiences. Yeah. So but it is that man, Uncle Fred and Kardak, they got the anointing, man. So
they do.
That song has been hitting like San Quentin. So it's been pretty dope.
Let's go. So, and along those same lines, a similar question: what was your favorite song to write off of this project?
My favorite song to write was probably "Your Way." Yeah, that was my favorite song to write because I don't sing a lot. Every now and then I will, but I think when I'm singing, it feels more. It feels closer to the emotion that I'm feeling. So singing represents it better to me sometimes. So so Your Way was a good song of release for me, and you know, kind of surrender, which had been the surrender had been basically the theme of that season that I was in. So I was happy to write get that one out.
Awesome. And last question before I reveal my 3 favorite. What was the most vulnerable piece on this project?
Definitely Daddy. I think for a long time I thought I was above my daddy wounds. But you know, if you bury things that are still alive, they either start to rot or they resurrect. And so I think that I think some of that was emerging in my life. And so through good spiritual leadership and therapy, I've been able to wrangle some of the challenges of my childhood. And it was only right that I wrote about it. And I got to write about it with my guitar player, Deshaun. It was originally his song. And when I heard it, I was so emotional, and I cried for like 30 minutes after hearing his song. And I said, bro, let me remake this and let's put it on my album. And he was down, and we took it from there.
That's awesome. And definitely appreciate your vulnerability, because I come from a home where I had a strong 2-parent home, and sometimes when you don't know the story, it's hard for you to have the empathy for it. And then also you have to have the self-awareness to know that you are the outlier. Like, I know as a Black man,
right,
I'm an outlier. I grew up in church, 2-parent household. We were not living in the projects. I'm an outlier. So I can't look at everybody and think that, like, oh, you can just be like me. Like,
just be like me.
No, that's not the way it works. So I appreciate when artists are able to articulate their stories, because, like I said, like I'm in a room with just a small little light on with some over-ear headphones, and I'm taking in the music, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So
I love
with
it.
that
That's
with that
awesome,
being
brother.
said, these are my 3 favorite songs. I know it's a shock for some. When I tell people that Your Way is one of my favorite songs on the project, everybody just kind of shocked.
Wow.
And I'm like, you don't, you're like, and they're like, no, like really? Like there's so many other songs. I'm like, I remember the second time listening to Your Way, I was on my way to work. I live in the DFW area. I was driving past Jerry World, AT&T Stadium, and I was listening to the album all the way through. And I remember I was right there because this song came on, and I went from being like in the car dancing, like everybody's like looking at me on the road, like, why is this dude jamming like this? Then that song comes on, and it's just so quiet and still. And it just like arrested me. And I hit the little one button on my loop, and I listened to it for the last like 20 minutes into work.
Wow.
And it just, that song just sticks you right there. It's an awesome song. So Your Way is number 3. Number 2 is King Jesus, just because Dilly, I mean, the way you guys were just lobbing bars back and forth, like what's the writing process like for that? Are you texting your bars back and forth? Are you actually in the room together? Like, how does that work?
So it was like we went back and forth. So like the first thing on that song was I got to go, so I don't need a rose, but so he wrote that. So I hadn't written anything. He wrote that that part. And then and then he had the I pledge my allegiance, I'm in Ephesians. So he sent like his the first part of the song, the first verse that he does before I come in, and then there's the breakdown. Then he comes back in again, and the end of that, it was like the second half of when he comes back in. That's all he sent in at first.
Okay.
And then once he sent that in, I was like, yo, we need to go back and forth. This will be crazy. I don't know if I've even heard this in our space for real. So we broke up his verse. I filled in all the gaps, and then we sent it back to Deal, and Deal added the Damian Lillard for 3 if you pass it for me and turn you into a beat. And then before we knew it, we had a whole song. And what's dope too that came together, you know, by God's grace, is that at the end of the second verse, let me see if I can remember this. I say, I talk about the, you know, I bring his will to the table. I'm never entangled. I'm giving you red table talk. And then Deal says, KB and Dilly, we setting it off. And that was not, that was not planned. It just kind of happened where we needed another line at the end. And he had said that before. So we moved it over, and it continues to Jada Pinkett because she was in the movie Set It Off. Yeah. So yeah, it keeps the scheme going. So it came together poetically.
I bring his will to the table. I'm never entangled. I'm giving you red table talk. Yeah, KB and Dilly, we setting it off.
By God's grace.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then obviously number 1, Donza. There's not much to say about that. We can just, everybody should understand why that's my favorite song on the project. So and then I just appreciate the love that you're showing to our Latin community. And let's hop over to 2 features, then one last recap, and then I'll let you go. Okay, does that sound good?
Okay, no problem.
All right, so my 2 favorite features, we'll go quick. The Holy Girls on Imagine That. And SO went absolutely crazy.
Telling me you love God, but you're not even loving your neighbor. Bread and wine, I'm eating that sacred stuff. Staying to work so much, my fingers get hurt. I love how the paper cuts.
Oh,
talk to me nice.
Like I haven't talked to him since the album came out because I'm upset with him, man.
You can't do that. You can't.
That wasn't right. He knew he was wrong, and he did it anyways.
Yep, but he just submitted the masters, and he just said, "Here, this is my song."
This is my song now.
Man, it's so much good stuff he says in there. It's amazing. And a little bit of a short little route off to your book. Like I felt like a lot of things he said in his verse kind of spoke to a lot of things you talked about in your book, Dangerous Jesus, as well. That's right. Also, I mean, for that matter, Dilly as well. Dilly on King Jesus. A lot of that is like in your Dangerous Citizen chapter. So I feel like both of them really spoke to your heart. So those were awesome in my estimation. Awesome. I agree. I totally agree. Awesome additions to the project. So let's keep it pushing. I do want to. I'm leaning two different ways in the last few minutes I have with you. I like doing something fun with guests sometimes, where I'll name a CHH artist, and depending on what sport they like, so I'll say, like, I'll name an artist like Andy Mineo, and if it's a baseball fan, give me his baseball player contemporary. So they may go old school and say like Derek Jeter, or they may say like Aaron Judge or something.
Yeah.
I'm going to name a few CHH artists, and you have to give their boxing contemporary.
Okay.
Because I know you're skilled with the hands.
Okay.
So I'm going to name a few artists off of your album. So, and you can go current, or you can go back in the day. Let's go No Big Deal. Like, who is his
No
boxing
Big
contemporary?
Deal. I would say No Big Deal is I'm gonna who would I say No Big Deal is? That is a good question, man. I'm gonna say No Big Deal is Isaac Pitbull Cruz. You have to look him up.
Okay. One of my homies is a boxing fan. He's got me really back into boxing, like in the last 4 or 5 years. So what about him? What draws the line?
I think so. Isaac Pitbull Cruz is he's this fighter that folks didn't see coming at first, and now he's like dominating, and because his talent is undeniable. He's like the boogeyman right now. For a lot of folks don't want to fight him because.
What weight class is he?
He's where is he? I think he's 35, 135. Okay. But I think I would give, he's only got, he was undefeated until he fought Gervonta Davis, but a lot of people still feel like he won that fight.
Gotcha.
But I'll give him Isaac Pitbull Cruz.
Okay. Let's go Lecrae.
Lecrae, man, I'm gonna say Lecrae is I'm gonna say Lecrae is he's the Charlo. He's the big Charlo, the one's about to fight. Yeah. Gotcha.
And one more. We'll go Wande.
Wande. One is Clarissa Shields.
Oh yes.
Yeah. That's easy. That one was easy.
Nice. Well, cool. And since we're doing the countdown, I'll let you go. I have to give you my 3 favorite chapters off of Dangerous Jesus. It's okay. I feel like it's a very important book.
Thank you, brother.
I've read it and I've done the audio book of it. So I would say my top 3 are Dangerous Friendship.
Okay.
Dangerous Joy.
Yes.
And Dangerous Citizen.
Yes. Those are probably my 3 favorite too.
Let's go. Yeah. Those.
Yeah.
I think for me, friendship is. I go back to actually. Oh, and it's one other thing, and I promise you I don't want to keep you too long, but I'll just say that friendship is very important to me. I've bounced around the country, and a lot of my friends are long distance, so that's one of those things for me that is very important, and I feel like is lacking at times. So constantly getting encouragement in that friendship area is something that quite frankly I really do need.
Agreed.
And one last thing, and I'll let you go. As you notice, I did not have miracles throughout this entire recap countdown because that song is a cheat code. That song, I was like, I'm not even putting that in here. Like that's hovering outside of the countdown.
That's what Wes said.
Yeah, that one's not even fair. And then the last thing, speaking of Dangerous Jesus, and I'll let you go. The last song, when the beat switches, there's a question that says, raise your hand if you're ready to die.
Yeah.
Is that pointing to the story from the Dangerous Faith and also from Southside Rabbi when you guys talk about your mission trip?
No.
Okay.
But you know what? If I was a dishonest person, that would be a very, very good option.
Okay.
And, but no, it was a sample that Wes put in there. It's just like this jarring question that is like, what?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what the beat does. It's like, oh, what? You know what I'm saying?
Here?
So all who wish to die, please raise your hands. it was just like this just jarring question that grabs your attention like the beat switch. So it was like a little creative.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
Easter
for
egg.
some reason, I think I might have. I'm not sure if I was just thinking about the book or something. I thought about like I wonder if that's like a playback to
It should.
a playback to that conversation. That was a dope part of the book, and I also enjoyed you guys talking about it. You and I mean on Southside Ride By. So,
man, brother.
KB, this has been a joy. I look up to you. I appreciate you. And I just if there's anything that we can be doing, if you have a quick prayer request on the way out, let us know that just so we can keep you lifted. We appreciate you all you do for the culture.
Amen. Yeah, just I thank you so much, brother, and I really appreciate all you're doing as well. And yeah, just keep myself, my family in prayer. The Lord will continue to help us grow, deep and not just wide, and that the Lord would help sustain us through these shows that we're doing this year.
Got you. KB, appreciate you. Holy Culture family, we will be right back at the halfway point of the show. I will give you guys a halftime pep talk. Once again, this is B+. This has been the Recap Countdown live version right here with KB, right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM channel 154, and we will be right back.